Imagine a cherry tree whose blossoms return faithfully each spring, forever tied to the anniversary of a quiet, heroic death. Not just any tree, a living memorial to unbreakable devotion, where petals carry the echo of a life given freely. This is Ubazakura, the milk nurse cherry tree from Lafcadio Hearn's classic Kwaidan collection. Join us on Fixations Japan as we explore this gentle ghost story and the forgotten influence of wet nurses in old Japan. Hi everyone, I'm Heather, your host for Fixations Japan, the podcast where we fixate on the strange, the beautiful, and the haunting side of Japanese culture. I'm here with my co-host Angel. How you doing, Angel?
I'm doing all right. I'm vibing.
Okay,
I'm here.
You're here. Well, if you guys are new here, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us as we explore yokai legends and the hidden histories behind them. Today, Ubazakura, a short ghost story on the surface, but one that opens a window into centuries of maternal bonds, sacrifice, and real historical influence. Let's begin. We're going to jump right into the story.
All right, let's do it.
So it's Kwaidan time.
Kwaidan time.
All right.
Let me get my popcorn.
300 years ago. It's old popcorn, right? 300 years ago, in the village called Asamimura, in the district called Onsengori, in the province of Iyo, that's a lot of information, there lived a good man named Tokubei. This Tokubei was the richest person in the district, and the Murayosa, or headman of the village, in most matters, he was fortunate, but he reached the age of 40 without knowing the happiness of becoming a father. Therefore, he and his wife, in the affliction of their childlessness, addressed many prayers to the divinity Feudal Myo-o, who had a famous temple called Saihoji in Asamimura. That's a lot of words.
That is a lot of words. Try saying that fast 10 times.
I don't wanna. At last, their prayers were heard. The wife of Tokubei gave birth to a daughter. The child was very pretty, and she received the name of Suyu. As the mother's milk was deficient, a milk nurse called Osode was hired for the little one. So she couldn't make enough milk. That happens. It sucks.
Just call me like that? I didn't know that.
It is. Sometimes. Keeping your supply up is a real struggle sometimes. Osuyu grew up to be a very beautiful girl, but at the age of 15 she fell sick, and the doctors thought that she was going to die. And that time, the nurse Osode, who loved Otsuyu with a real mother's love, went to the temple Saihoji and fervently prayed to Furo-sama on behalf of the girl. Every day, for 21 days, she went to the temple and prayed. And at the end of that time, Otsuyu suddenly and completely recovered.
Wow.
Just bam.
Miraculous.
Yeah. Then there was great rejoicing in the house of Tokubei, and he gave a feast to all his friends in celebration of the happy event. But on the night of the feast, the nurse Osode was suddenly taken ill, and on the following morning, the doctor, who had been summoned to attend her, announced that she was dying.
Wait, she's dying? I thought she got better.
No, that's the wet nurse is dying.
Oh no. Okay.
Then the family in great sorrow gathered around her bed to bid her farewell, but she said to them, "It is time that I should tell you something which you do not know. My prayer has been heard. I besought Fudo-sama that I might be permitted to die in the place of Otsuyu, and this great favor has been granted me. Therefore, you must not grieve about my death, but I have one request to make. I promised Fudo-sama that I would have a cherry tree planted in the garden of Saihoji for a thank offering, a commemoration. Now I shall not be able myself to plant the tree there, so I must beg that you will fulfill that vow for me. Goodbye, dear friends, and remember that I was happy to die for Otsuyu's sake."
So they have to plant that cherry tree for her in order to get complete the process? Okay.
Yeah, to complete the promise, I guess.
She didn't have to die for that.
Well, she was giving her life so that Otsuyu could live.
Yeah, I figured as much.
I guess that's just another part of the promise is like, you gonna put your soul in this tree.
Oh no, that's really bad.
After the funeral of Osode, a young cherry tree, the finest that could be found, was planted in the garden of Saihoji by the parents of Otsuyu. The tree grew and flourished, and on the 16th day of the second month of the following year, the anniversary of Otsode's death, it blossomed in a wonderful way. So it continued to blossom for 254 years, always upon the 16th day of the second month.
Whoa.
And the people called it Ubazakura, the cherry tree of the milk nurse.
That's a very cool cherry tree.
If you guys have your own copy, you'll probably notice that I skipped over a thing there. That's just because I don't think Spotify or YouTube would appreciate that. So I'm going to not include it.
Oh, no.
I mean, I'll tell you real quick. I'll just have to remember to cut it out.
Oh.
And I was like, I don't think YouTube will like that.
Could be worse.
It's not, it's not bad, but it, we don't want to get in trouble. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's quiet. That's
a way to describe it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When I read that, I was like, oh my God. That's why. I guess. Like, I was trying to picture, like, the similarity, because, like, I still feed my daughter, so, like, I'm like, oh, that's, I don't know, man,
like,
that's
this
something.
is hitting home a little too much. gotta not say this.
Yeah. It's a quiet, devastating little story. It's not, like, scary. There's not, like, a yurei. There's no horror. It's just
a woman who
just
gave
a
up her
woman
life.
Who gave up her life because she loved not even her, it's not her biological daughter, it's someone else's daughter, but it's
she was feeding her, right? So she got attached.
Yes.
Bonded.
Yeah, Hearn captures something super Japanese in that story, and that's the beauty and transience. The grief and devotion can turn into sorrow. Grief and devotion can turn sorrow into something eternal, like sakura petals falling every spring.
Those are amazing.
They are. So there is something, like, culturally important about this story as well, and that's the role of the wet nurse, because it actually was a really big deal. Wet nurses were a huge deal in feudal Japan. The uba, which is what they're called, or minoto, which is the more formal term, they weren't just like a caregiver. From the Heian period right through the Edo area, wet nurses wielded, like, real, often, like, massive influence. So, like, they weren't just, like, the lady in your house that fed your kid. Like, it was a big deal.
They were, like, a huge deal then.
They were really important. So, it starts with milk kinship, which in many cultures, including Japan, mama milk, as I call it, wasn't just food. I guess they transmitted character, loyalty, even, like, more moral qualities. And the bond created by nursing was seen as thicker than blood in some ways. It's like a child nursed by a woman became her milk child. So
they thought that they got all the traits of the mother, basically.
Yes.
Which is funny because now you can kind of know, that they get kind of the immune system from that.
They do, yeah.
It's interesting how far ahead they were on that. I guess not scientifically, but Yeah. Yeah. So a child nursed by a woman became her milk child, and then her biological kids became milk siblings to the noble heir, which would they would forge alliances that could last, like, generations this way. Whoa.
Yeah, I was like,
did we ever finish the story, or did I interrupt you?
No, we finished it. It was really short. That was it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh wait, we haven't gone back.
No, it's okay.
So it just keeps going and it cycles back to where she blossoms on that specific date.
Every year.
And it's still known that
254 years. That's a really good question.
I wonder if that tree is actually a thing, like if it's an actual tree. You don't have to look it up, but I was just curious. Maybe we should figure that out soon.
Let's see.
So they weren't. It's interesting how they held a position of power for being a wet nurse, though.
Yeah. Yes. So in the Heian and Kamakura periods, which is roughly like 950 to 1330, wet nurses and their families rose to court power. Like they even had power in the courts. So retired emperors used them to build networks and break old aristocratic monopolies. My mouth didn't want to say that word.
Yeah.
Aristocratic. Nurses' kin became retainers. Allegiances often overrode blood ties. So a wet nurse's family could gain land, titles, political clout, and all of that just from feeding someone's baby.
I think that's awesome. That should still be a thing. and blood feuds for wet nurses.
I think it was, I'd have to check, on this, but like, I think it was actually the West that was like, that's nasty, that's gross. And like, so they didn't want to feed their babies with their own bodies. And so they got wet nurses, but they didn't look highly upon the wet nurses. They were just like,
you see that, Heather? That's religion making things weird. Well, it's not pure.
Dirty.
Like what? It's normal. It is completely natural.
Yeah, it is totally natural, and I think it's nice. I think it's beautiful. People are still like, "What? You still feed your daughter?" And I'm like, "Dude, like, yeah, she still needs it. It's fine. Leave it alone."
Yeah, makes sense.
Isn't it inconvenient for you? No, I don't care. It's not bothering me at all. That's the thing that I find crazy.
Why would that bother them?
Like, is it inconvenient
Why are
for
they
you? It's
worried?
got to be hard on you. And I'm like, it's literally not. It's the easiest thing in the world.
Can you imagine a wet nurse that gets like her ego inflated by the clout? It's walking around with her gold chain.
We actually have a famous example of a wet nurse that I can tell you about. Yes.
Let's hear it.
So fast forward to the Edo period. We get one of the most famous examples, which is Lady Kasuga, or Kasuga no Tsubone. She was born around 1579, and she became the wet nurse to Tokugawa Iemitsu, the future third shogun. So in 1604, she was his wet nurse. She divorced her husband to take the role, which was a huge commitment.
It's crazy work.
Yeah. But I don't know why she had to divorce her husband to take that role.
I don't think that was necessary. Yeah.
No, but she didn't stop at nursing. So Lady Kasuga became a political powerhouse. She helped secure Iemitsu's succession over his brother, negotiated with the imperial court in Kyoto, and basically shaped the uoko, which is the women's quarters of Edo Castle, into a stable system for producing heirs and maintaining shogunal power.
She created the harems?
I guess. She was one of the 3 pillars supporting Iemitsu's rule, with influence equivalent to a high-ranking daimyo.
That's crazy.
Yeah. She was a big, important lady. Her story shows how a humble wet nurse could run things from behind the scenes, or behind the screens.
Behind the screens. I think that is absolutely nuts that she divorced her husband for, but I can see why. Like, some people just value power more than anything.
Well, and maybe it was that you couldn't have, they wanted to make sure that she didn't have any like remaining ties to someone else, like that she would take this role as her only role and as the most important role that she had. So like she would have
no allegiances anywhere else, basically.
Right. Which I guess kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
So I guess wet nurses like her weren't like rare exceptions. They were trusted insiders, which were like often more loyal than blood relatives because the bond was chosen and nurtured.
Mm-hmm.
So like in samurai families, they raised heirs amid constant war threats, and in the court, they bridged factions. So the idea that milk creates unbreakable kinship made Uba figures like quiet, profound authorities. It's pretty cool.
That checks out. Yep.
Yep.
And I like that that he spoke about it and decided to write about this too.
Yeah, I think it's a very nice story. I don't think like if you didn't know how important if you didn't know how important wet nurses were, you'd just be like, okay, so she gave up really whatever. But like it's kind of important, you know. So
just a little more than blood.
Yeah, it wasn't just like her maternal love for this child that was not her own. You know, it's the cultural weight of it. The wet nurse was a guardian. So.
And I can see why they would trust him a little more, because sometimes I'm sure blood relatives were wanting like rank.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
they would be more likely to betray their brothers or sisters or whatever who was in charge.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, thinking even back on like the stories that we've told here on Fixations Japan, I can think of several where they were betrayed by people close to
absolutely.
them, brothers, sisters, uncles, you know. It was...
Even the yokai were betrayed.
Even the yokai.
Oh, man.
Yep. So Ubazakura blends folklore with real history, and the sakura symbolizes the impermanence, the beautiful brief. It's very cool. Yeah, but the tree continues to bloom eternally. I guess I looked it up, and those trees do in fact still bloom in that temple.
I want to touch it.
Want to touch it? I think there's a rule against touching the sakura trees. I think they say don't touch everywhere. Like they're like don't. They're very fragile. The trees are.
I just want to put my hand on it. And that's
I think the rule is if it's on the ground, you can pick it up, but like don't touch the tree.
Leave the tree alone. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That makes sense. If they're delicate like that, that makes sense.
They are extremely
I've seen some really like bad videos about tourists in Japan.
Tourists are something like a...
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I would never do that, but I hate that that's how they see tourists now because of these people.
I don't think they all see tourists that way, but I do think like some of them have given us a bad name as tourists.
Yeah.
I'm not even a tourist yet, but
streamers too, I've noticed like they've gotten to the point where they even like tell them they're not allowed to stream in certain areas now.
Well, there's the what do they call them? They're like obnoxious streamers. I don't remember what they call them. But that's literally what they do is they just go out and they harass people.
It's different if you're going out there like doing a food review or like, you know, something like that. But
yeah, I'm sure if you're there to like respect the culture and the country, like they're not gonna care if you.
I would love to see the history, get a whole rundown of the history if I go out there.
Oh yeah.
I got off topic, but I got a GoPro recently that I can use for that.
Oh, that's so cool! I can't wait. We're gonna have to figure out how you can send me the footage so I can edit it so we can put it on our YouTube channels and stuff. But that'll be cool.
And I have the thing that straps to my head too, by the way.
Very good. Very good. I'm gonna circle around back so we can start tying things up here. But where was I? So
Unbreakable bond, guardian.
Sakura symbolizes impermanence, which is beautiful and brief, but here the tree blooms eternally in memory of sacrifice. It's about female strength that's quiet but unbreakable, maternal love that outlasts death. Today we might think of chosen family, adoptive bonds, or anyone who's nursed us through life, not with milk, but with care. Who in your life has been that figure? Drop it in the comments. I read them all.
We sure do. And it makes you think about like people who are, you know, who actually do make their own families when they have like blood family.
Right. Like I think a lot of people, that's still true today. Like your chosen family sometimes is often like you're way more loyal to them than maybe even your real family. Because some people's real families suck.
Yeah, I've heard some bad cases. True. So you can have, I'm not saying you don't have a chosen family, but we all have that friend group, I'm sure that's like, okay, like these are my
definitely.
People. You know,
I think it's something that we hear all the time, but isn't the full quote is like blood is thicker than water, but that's not the full quote.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I want the full quote real quick.
Get the full quote.
Full quote.
I enjoyed the story of what was it, Ubazakura?
Yeah.
Why is it with a Z instead of an S?
I don't know. Sometimes they do that. I think it's because like some words in Japanese, they sometimes are pronounced in an interesting way. So it could be that Hearn heard it with a Z sound, and so he wrote it with a Z sound.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, so the full proverb is, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, which is actually like the exact opposite of how we hear it all the time.
Literally the opposite.
Literally, yeah. It's saying like the bonds chosen through shared experience, loyalty, struggle, they're stronger than those of simple like family ties of being born together.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. I just thought that tied in with this.
It does tie into it. I was actually like, it makes me think about stuff because I've had more closer bonds with people I've met, through school or online or even friendships like between us.
Yeah. Oh my God, we've known each other since
I've had with a lot of my family members, and it's not a bad thing. I get along with my family great.
Yeah. Gosh, we've known each other since we were 14. I'm 32
like 11,
now.
Actually.
Oh God, 11, and I'm 30. Oh my God, so 12. Yeah, 20 years.
it's an over 20 years. Yeah,
long time.
Showing our age here. We're not even that old.
I'm feeling it right this second. Oh, okay. When I realized I've known you for 20 years, I was like, oh God, okay, I'm old. All right. Well, that was Ubazakura. Thanks for listening to Fixations Japan. If this moved you, share it with someone who loves folklore or Japanese history. And join us next time from our Kwaidan tales as we are going to make our way through the whole thing. Until then, stay curious. And maybe next cherry blossom season, think of the milk nurse tree. Maybe. Okay. Thank you all for joining us. And remember, if you like what we do here, follow us on Spotify. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, Patreon, TikTok, and Discord. But we're still getting started on most of those. But on Spotify and YouTube, you can find us for sure. Our episodes post simultaneously here and there. But on there, you get the cute little characters.
There's cute characters.
Okay. See you guys next time.
Bye-bye.